Hi, I'm Val from Barbella Fitness, and this was my deadlift progressions filmed on two separate deadlift days. This was filmed on Sunday, February 22, 2015 in Brooklyn, New York. I was working on my deadlifts and shoulders. I only filmed the deadlift portion. But here I'm doing sumos, and I feel with sumos it's less aggravating for my low back than when I did conventionals. Also, it feels more of a push movement. A majority of it feels more of a push movement with my legs than a pull movement with my back. I mean, it still, of course, activates my back when I lock it out, but the initial pull, I feel that my legs really work on pushing that bar up compared to pulling it with my arms. Anyway, that's my take on sumo deadlifts and how I compared it as far as percentages. I'd say about 70% of it is push and about 30% of it is pull, but that's just my opinion. And then on Saturday, February 28th, a week later in Chelsea, New York, I continued on with my sumos. The previous week I did singles for 265 pounds, 3 sets of singles. And for this day, February 28th, I was bringing it up, and I did 3 singles for 270 pounds that you'll see here after this. I did a touch and go for 265 for 2 reps. I'm not quite sure what I'll be doing on my next deadlift, which is on Saturday. Today is Thursday, March 5th, and so on Saturday, March 7th, I'll be doing my deadlift and shoulders. But I'm not sure if I'm going to deload that day or move on to a single, maybe at 275 or 280. 285 is my max, and I haven't had that since last October of 2014. Then I went on to try this seated overhead press. This is something that is my first time trying it, seated overhead. I usually do the standing overhead presses, but what's interesting is I just read a Norwegian study on overhead presses, and they mentioned that the standing compared to the seated barbell overhead presses activates about 25% more neuromuscular activity, particularly on the posterior deltoids, during the standing position versus the seated position. And when they compared dumbbell overhead presses and standing overhead presses, seated versus standing, all the standing, whether it's dumbbell or barbell, activated more muscle activity, probably because it requires more stability with your core during the standing movement as compared to the seated movements. Anyway, that was that, and this was my workout. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.